Tough fight tonight with Danny Castillo. He's a guy fighting for his UFC life out there. You went out and took it to him. Looks like there were, double-digit choke attempts from you out there. You went after him nonstop.
Yeah.
How do you feel about your performance tonight?
Yeah, I feel okay. Like I said in the fight, this transition from 45 to 55, I still am getting my body reset. The last couple cuts to 45 were like near-death experiences for me. I didn't want to quit, so that was the problem. I felt like if I had moved up to 55, I'd be like quitting on fighting, like a coward's way out. So I made it a few more times, and the Charles fight, I literally it was really, really bad making weight. I should have never even made it. I should have just quit. But I did it, and then I wound up having a terrible performance in that fight. And, I'm still kind of recovering from that, but overall, I'm very glad with the 55 move. And, I'm gonna be a contender at 55, I guarantee it.
What did you think about your performance tonight, specifically against Danny Castillo?
It was okay. I threw a punch, and he did like a really weird duck low kind of thing, and I really hyperextended my leg. It made it really hard to move forward and chase him. So I just kind of gritted down, stayed in the pocket, and waited for him to open up.
How close were any of those chokes? Do you feel
They were very close. He was gargling and spitting up, and I give it to him. He like you said, he was fighting for his life in there, and it was very hard to finish him. He's a very tough guy, and I hope the best for him. And if anyone ever asks me, I think he should have a job for life.
Were you surprised the judges called it a split decision?
Yeah, I thought I very clearly won. I landed the shots that actually mattered. None of his shots hurt me. All my shots hurt him.
Towards the end, did you notice that? Did you feel like he was getting tired? Did you feel like you could
He's getting
finish?
tired from the beginning. I just couldn't capitalize because I felt like I couldn't move right. And when I went to chase him, if you could hear my coaches, they were yelling at me pretty much like, Nick, what are you doing? Throw the damn jab. Don't extend. And because I couldn't move, I was getting stuck on my front foot. And then as I was throwing punches, I was leaning forward and missing a lot of my shots. Overall, it wasn't the best performance of my life, but when you're fighting in the UFC and you come out with a win, it's an impressive feat.
Nick, you made a couple mentions about weight cutting. Of course, the cut to 45 was real difficult for you. Even the cut to 55, you said, is hard. What's going to change the mentality in the sport? Because obviously, at some point, something has to change. It's got the same mentality college wrestling had back in the day. But what's got to change to make people start fighting at a more natural weight class?
Well, first of all, what I want to comment on about wrestling, and I'm very passionate about this, is that wrestlers didn't die until people started fucking with the weight classes. And that's when they started to die, because then we're like, we're going to give these poor kids an hour to win and then go make them compete in the best, hardest competition of their life. And it's people who don't know anything about the sport and people who don't know anything about weight cutting that always manage to mess it up and make it dangerous. So I would really hope if we're going to start adjusting weight classes, adjusting how we cut weight and stuff, that real professional fighters and real professionals get in there to do it, and not just people in commissions that just work for the government and don't understand anything about fighting.
Do you see it being more weight classes, or do you see it being more monitoring of weight over a period of time, especially as you go through your training camp for a particular fight?
You know what? I'm a grown man, and it was my decision to go to 45 and to keep there, so I have no one to blame but myself. And anyone who goes around blaming anything about their weight cuts on anyone else other than themselves is something I can't say on the radio or on TV or on whatever you want to call it.
Nick, BJ Penn had some comments about you a little while back on UFC Tonight. What are your thoughts on BJ's comments about coming out of retirement to specifically fight yourself?
Well, number one, check out my poem, because I'm a freaking lyrical genius when it comes to that stuff. And number two, if BJ Penn ever wants some, he knows where to find me in the cage. His retired ass can just stay at home unless he wants to actually come in here.
That'll do it.
Thanks, Nick.
On that note.